Alrighty, good afternoon, guys. We're gonna kind of wrap up the notes really quick. It should be fairly quick and painless. So, so we'll go ahead and get started. Um, we talked the other day about some of the different cavities in the body, specifically the four major cavities. So you had your cranial cavity, your spinal cavity, and your thoracic cavity, and your abdominal pelvic cavity. So we're going to talk about some subcavities within the cranial cavity. There are three different subcavities within the cranium. The first being the nasal cavity. So this is where air is going to get through, and you can kind of see it on the diagram here. It's basically where your nose is. So air gets through there. Your oral cavity is going to be for your food and air. Obviously, it'll be air when your nose is all stopped up or something like that, but you can get air through that way as well. But specifically, it's there for food. Your ocular cavity is going to be where your eyes are located, because these are, again, cavities are all just places where there's big hollow spaces. So all of these are big hollow spaces. So those are the three subcavities within your cranium. Okay. Now, there are also these hollow spaces inside your cranium called sinuses. They don't really serve any function as far as we know. They sometimes collect excess fluid. Sometimes they are extremely sensitive to changes in pressure, which is when you get sinus headaches. So, and then sometimes you'll get sinus infections, and you might have sinus drainage. So, you know, other than making you feel kind of lousy when they're not quite right, we don't really know their actual function or their real function yet. So there's two different sinuses. There's your frontal sinus, which is right here. So you can always tell when you're having a sinus headache because it's going to be right at that front part of your forehead. The other place that the other sinus that you have is called your sphenoid sinus, which is going to be this little area kind of behind your eyes. So that's why when you have a sinus headache, it hurts right in that front part of your face. So right at behind the eyes and in that top part. So, so just right there. If you have a headache that's kind of on the top of your head or in the back, that's going to be an actual headache. That's not going to be a sinus headache. So I know whenever I have a sinus headaches, I can't just take like a pain med. I've got to also take something that's going to take care of the sinuses, which is usually like Sudafed or something, because it's causing some pressure on your brain, but there's another cause behind it. It's not a blood vessel being pressed against, which is normally what causes headaches. So you got your frontal sinus and your sphenoid sinus. The last slide that we're going to talk about are the different organ systems in the humans. So we will not have time to go over all of these in depth by any means before the end of the semester, but we'll be able to hit a couple of them. So we'll just kind of quickly go through what they are. But you've got your cardiovascular system. This is going to be responsible for your heart and moving blood throughout your body. So cardio implies your heart. Vascular means blood or tissues. So it makes sense that it's your blood and your heart moving, the heart moving the blood around your body. Your digestive system is self-explanatory. Most people know that one. It's going to break down your food, convert it into chemical energy or ATP. So your endocrine system is your system of hormones, which you may not like those, from puberty, but they do help you with all sorts of things. Your hormones regulate everything from your heart rate to sometimes your height to your, how nervous you might be, to whether or not you may or may not have problems gaining or losing weight. It does regulate your weight. So your hormones do a lot more than just put you through puberty. Um, so yeah. Your immune system, most people are familiar with that. It's going to help fight off infections and things like that. So it's going to include things like your white blood cells. Technically, your skin could be in the immune system because it's your first line of defense. However, your integumentary system is actually your skin, is your protection system. So that the integumentary system includes your skin, hair, and nails. So basically, your skin and the stuff that comes out of your skin. So and normally we do talk about that one early on. So I usually try to do the skeletal, muscular, and integumentary system in conjunction with this introduction to anatomy. So we'll see kind of where you guys want to go with that. But the lymphatic system is responsible for maintaining liquid levels in your body and hydration and things like that. It's almost like another blood vessel system because you've got lymphatic vessels as well as blood vessels that run throughout your body. If I'm not mistaken, when you guys were looking through the dissection manuals, that's kind of the difference between a double, single, and triple injected specimen. If you had that option, a single specimen is just going to have the blood vessels denoted, but it's not going to be. It's only going to inject one dye, so you won't necessarily be able to tell the difference between a vein and an artery. That's what the double injection is for. It's going to show you the difference between the vein and the artery. A triple injection specimen, if you would have gotten one of those, is also going to show you where the lymphatic vessels are. So they kind of run in conjunction with your blood vessels. It's going to move water and lymph, which is the liquid that it moves. We call it lymph. Cancer usually affects the system pretty big because it is, since it's like another version of your circulatory system, cancer spreads very easily throughout this system if it gets into it. So that's why it's not uncommon for a lymph node to be a site of a cancer tumor. So you've got lymph nodes under your armpits. They're in various locations throughout your body. You don't have them all over the place, but they're concentrated in some areas. So but that's the lymphatic system. Then you've got your muscular system, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but it's going to help you move. It's going to help do a lot of internal things like help you swallow your food. It's going to help you, help your heart beat. It's going to help you. A lot of your organs are lined with muscles. Your bladder's lined with a muscle. Your intestines and your stomach and your esophagus are all lined with muscles. So we've got that. Obviously, and then you've also got movement of your arms. You're able to move because of your muscles. Your nervous system, that one most people know also. That's your brain and spinal cord. It's the one that's going to be in charge of everything. It's going to be the one that's going to tell all the other systems what to do and when to do it. It's going to regulate all of that. Your reproductive system, self-explanatory, creating other organisms like ourselves. So those are your reproductive organs like the uterus and the ovaries and stuff like that. So the respiratory system, that is specifically going to be your lungs. Sometimes people will put the heart in with the respiratory system, but usually we consider it just to be your lungs and the process of bringing in oxygen into your body and excreting carbon dioxide. Now, this one is usually taught in conjunction with cardiovascular. Usually you teach those, or you're going to learn about those at the exact same time because they're so intertwined. Your cardiovascular system relies on the respiratory system to bring in the oxygen that it needs to circulate, and it relies on the respiratory system to get rid of the carbon dioxide that it's circulating away from the cells. So yes, those are kind of in conjunction with one another. Your skeletal system, that's going to be obviously your skeleton. So giving you your shape, Without your skeletal system, you're just a big blob of skin and muscles. So you just be a blob. And then, and also protects most of your vital internal organs. Think about your rib cage. It's going to enclose a lot of those vital organs and protect them. Your urinary system sometimes is called your excretory system. It's the same thing, and this one is going to get rid of waste. So I just realized that I forgot the excretory system. Oh, I guess that is the urinary. I'm sorry. It's really late, so I'm kind of talking in circles here. But your urinary system is the same thing as your excretory system. Sorry. So it's going to be getting rid of wastes. And so kidneys, urethra, bladder, all that fun stuff, that's going to be in your urinary system, or your excretory system. So the next thing that you guys have on the docket is a worksheet. But the nice thing about this worksheet is there's lots of diagrams, so you're welcome to use the notes that we've got to kind of do that. I am sitting in the conference room right now, so I should have my email up. So if you have questions, you can just shoot me an email, and I'll try to respond back to you. So that way, if you need anything or you need something clarified, I can maybe give you some real-time responses. On the second page, so it would technically be the third page since you're going front and back. You don't have to do those first three questions, first three fill in the blanks, because they're talking about different tissues that are lining some of the cavities. The membranes, you don't have to worry about those just yet. So don't worry about just doing those three, but everything else you should be able to do. The front diagrams, you should be able to do the inside of that first page. You should be able to label those and then match up what stuff is in what cavity. So, and then the last part is I believe it's the on that third page or that front side of the second page, it's going to be talking about the different organ systems that we just talked about and the some of the anatomical positions. Just make sure that if those statements are false, that you change it so that that italicized word is true. So again, if you have questions, just let me know. I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as I can. So get the worksheet from the sub, and I'll collect those tomorrow. So have a good day.